Fellow Ghanaians, 30 years ago today, on 28th April 1992, we Ghanaians took one of the most important decisions of our history. We went to the polls to decide in a referendum the nature of the future governance of our nation, whether to continue to live under military rule or to live under democratic rule. Indeed, the days, months, years, and decades prior to that day had seen the nation sample almost every form of governance known to man. We began our life at independence with multi-party democracy, which transitioned in the First Republic into one-party rule. 3 out of the 5 coups d'etats in our history resulted in the overthrow of 3 civilian governments. 2 of the coups removed military governments, and there was strong resistance to the idea of the formation of a so-called union government in Ghana. Predictably, we experienced from these events a weakening of the sense of self-confidence and progress of the Ghanaian, which was evidenced by the fact that components of the Human Development Index, i.e. life expectancy rates, access to education, and per capita income indicators at the time were not commensurate with our vast potential. Several attempts to take Ghana down the path of multi-party democracy were met in some quarters with stiff opposition and cynical responses. Those who would rather have authoritarian rule foisted on the citizenry claimed Ghana was underdeveloped and we needed to get things done in a hurry. They claimed that democracy was cumbersome and would divide Ghanaians along tribal lines. However, the will was widespread and virtually unanimous to have the decade-long ban on party political activities, imposed in 1981, lifted, and a return to multi-party democracy established. The Ghanaian people wanted to live in conditions of freedom, where there was respect for individual liberties, human rights, and the principles of democratic accountability. The Provisional National Defense Council, PNDC, in power since the 31st December 1981 coup, set up the National Consultative Assembly in May 1991 and tasked the body to prepare a draft constitution for the country. 3 months down the line, a draft constitution was produced, and on 28th April 1992, Ghanaians went to the polls in the referendum to make a decision for which we, the current and future generations, are the beneficiaries. 3,408,119 Ghanaians voted yes in the referendum, representing 92.59% of the vote, to return our nation to democratic rule, as opposed to 272,855 voting no, representing a mere 7.41%. The Constitution, overwhelmingly approved in the referendum, set up a liberal democratic state founded on the separation of powers, with exclusive power in the judiciary to superintend and enforce the Constitution and protect the fundamental human rights of the citizenry. The coming into effect of the 1992 Constitution was promulgated with immense popular backing, and on 7th January 1993, His Excellency Jerry John Rawlings, chairman of the erstwhile PNDC, was sworn into office as the first president of the Fourth Republic. We have since then experienced the longest uninterrupted period of stable constitutional governance in our history, banishing the specter of instability that had disfigured much of our nation's early existence. And the benefits are showing. We have, over the last 30 years, witnessed sustained growth in every facet of national life. There have been considerable improvements in the Human Development Index. Simply put, democracy has been good for us. Today, democracy, equality of opportunity, and respect for human rights and the rule of law, ideals which have stood the test of time in most of the world, have now found firm anchor in our body politic. We've had 5 presidents in the history of the Fourth Republic, with peaceful transfers of power from a governing to an opposition party on 3 separate occasions. Even when there was disagreement with the outcome of an election, it was the Supreme Court on 2 occasions, rather than the streets, that validated its result. We are arguably the most stable democracy in West Africa.